Republican Congressman Mark Molinaro. He joins me. Congressman, thanks for being with us. It's not just D'Esposito, but Lawler and others in the New York congressional delegation. Your Republican colleagues condemning that joke about Puerto Rico. Mike Lawler calling it racist. Do you agree with that? Was that a racist joke yesterday?
I said it earlier today. I think it was an awful joke. I, like many of my colleagues, love both the island of Puerto Rico, but also the culture of Puerto Ricans and their contribution not only to New York, but to the rich fabric of America. It was just something that shouldn't have been said. It wasn't funny then, it isn't funny now. You know, it's also not funny, though, are New York City Democratic elected officials who referred to many of those attending yesterday as being part of a Nazi rally. I think, quite frankly, at the end of the day, we all ought to be very careful about how we categorize fellow Americans. Good, decent people, enthusiastically involved in this process. Awful joke, should never have been said. Don't share the sentiment, and I don't share the sentiment that many of my Democratic colleagues were throwing at good New Yorkers who were engaged in the process. They're not Nazis. They're good Americans just exercising their right to both to vote and to support the candidate of their choice.
Yeah, Congressman, we know that the Trump campaign disavowed the statement there, but do you worry, should the Trump campaign be worried that a joke like that, maybe it's an unforced error, but that it will turn off Americans of Puerto Rican descent, that the Trump campaign needs to win in places like Pennsylvania? Of course, I'm sure the 19th congressional district where you represent has quite a sizable Puerto Rican population there. Do you worry it will turn off voters? We've heard the entire cycle that Republicans especially are making inroads with the Latino community here. What about after this joke? Are you concerned?
Well, I think every effort should be made to disavow it and to show, quite candidly, our commitment to American citizens. And I think, by the way, the growth that the president has seen in Latino support, but also, though, many Latino Americans and New Yorkers are just outraged by this current administration, the president and Vice President Harris, and their abandonment of the southern border. They see individuals, and again, Puerto Ricans are Americans, but they see others that enter into this country illegally being treated with benefits. You know, my own opponent in this particular race, Josh Riley, Washington, D.C. lawyer, fought not only to surrender the southern border, but to extend taxpayer benefits, hotels, credit cards, and even, by the way, accessing Social Security checks. That really does upset New Yorkers of all backgrounds, Americans of all backgrounds, and frankly, that's what we ought to be talking about. We ought to be sure to make sure that our Latino friends and Black and brown neighborhoods know how valuable they are, how important it is that we work together to provide for public safety, secure the border, and to drive down crime in our communities.
So just to kind of put a note here on this part of this interview, though, I mean, is it going to have any electoral impacts down ballot? I mean, that's what some are saying, that this joke specifically will either, turn people off who were looking forward to voting for former President Trump, maybe for the first time, and maybe they might not turn out after being turned off by a joke like that. And I have to ask, what does it say about the confidence of the Trump campaign that they are rallying in New York State 10 days out from the election here? Do you agree with Trump's assertion that New York State is in play at the presidential level?
There's going to be significant support for the president throughout the state. I mean, I think we all recognize it's a pretty tall order to win the state of New York, but a great deal of enthusiasm in districts all across the state. And again, there are kind of blended two questions there. I think, again, we ought to make very clear, if you're out there concerned about border security, if you're out there concerned about the high cost of living, if you're tired of crime and the policies that, quite frankly, in the state of New York, single party rule under Democratic leadership like Kathy Hochul, my opponent's Josh Riley, tied directly to these people. If you're tired of those policies that have made us less safe and less affordable, give us a chance. I've been fighting for these things and certainly representing the people of upstate New York, fighting back on downstate policies to make us less safe, trying to secure the border. And so, again, I think that the enthusiasm that something like this rally brings to New York simply gets those who are already engaged really motivated. And we need that. We want people to show up and vote.
Congressman, I want to talk about your race in particular here. This is the definition of a swing House district. At the presidential level in 2020, it went Biden +4, but you won in 2022 here, and you're trying to keep the seat. Obviously, Josh Riley, your Democratic competitor, Politico describing this as the single most expensive House race in the nation right now. They say the campaign has so far cost the candidates House campaign arms and super PACs more than $35.5 million. Why is this so expensive, and why is this so competitive?
Well, first, the Democrats here in the state of New York, they want to win back these seats. They were upset that they lost them 2 years ago, but they're not theirs to have. And in my particular case, I'm running against a Washington, D.C. lawyer, spent the last 20 years, Josh Riley spent the last 20 years in Washington, D.C. fighting, actually making the legal argument to dismantle border security. When he came back to New York, he tried to run in 2 other congressional seats before he finally landed in this one. And I think the only way they think they can win it is to spend that kind of money, to actually steal it from ordinary, good, upstanding New Yorkers. They're not going to be successful. This district and his race, his campaign, pouring tens of millions of dollars of dark money from really all around the country, trying simply to lie about my record, lie about his record, and buy himself a congressional seat. But upstate New Yorkers know this. We know what it's like to be sold a bill of goods by downstate politicians and politicians just like Josh Riley. We see it every day, from sanctuary city to cashless bail, from the high cost of living to crime in our communities. These policies have made us less safe and less affordable, and we're fighting back.
So, Congressman, you are getting outspent by Riley, and in some of the polls you are behind here. So what can you do to close the gap in the next 8 days? What are you telling your supporters?
Well, first, the only public poll that's been released is one that has me down 4 points. I just would tell you, that had me down 5 points 2 years ago. I ended up winning by 2. We feel very confident about where we are. They're spending a lot of money lying about me, and they're pouring dollars in from Josh Riley's corporate buddies and DC connections. But we've got an enthusiastic team on the ground. We're getting votes out. Early voting is very, very promising. I encourage you, if you're out there, please vote early. If you haven't already, visit us at markforus.com. We always want to find new friends and supporters. But we feel very, very confident about where we are. Listen, I represent a part of the state that's lead the nation in out migration. More people leave us to other states than any other state in America because of the policies that Josh Riley, Kathy Hochul, Eric Adams have really forced onto communities like ours. And I promise you, we're tired of it. We're tired of seeing taxpayer money be to support those who come in this country illegally. We want to support law enforcement, support our communities, and make our communities more affordable again.
Congressman, we have a live look there at the U.S. Capitol, though, in D.C. We know the New York Post has come out and endorsed you today. We also know Speaker of the House Mike Johnson will be campaigning with you, I believe, this weekend here. Hypothetically, say, everything goes the way for Republicans in the House. Is there any conversations happening right now about what Speaker Mike Johnson's role will be if Republicans keep the majority? Will he still be Speaker, do you think? Or is there an effort afoot to oust him like his predecessor, Kevin McCarthy? Or I don't want to put the cart before the horse here, but there are reports to suggest that there is somewhat of an effort afoot here, depending on if Republicans win or lose.
Well, listen, I've been around long enough to know that everybody in an office is always interested in another office from time to time, although I'm quite satisfied where I am. Let's get through November 5th. What I can tell you is when the Republicans hold and grow the majority, Speaker Mike Johnson will have a lot to celebrate, and I think our conference will be very grateful for his leadership. I'd also mention we've got a great leadership team from Steve Scalise and Tom Emmer to our own chairwoman, Elise Stefanik, really working hard to win this majority, and I'm confident that this team and the rank and file members working hard together are going to prove to America and Americans that we deserve the right to represent you. We're going to stand up to secure this border and make our country more affordable again.
Yeah. Just lastly, and I just thought of this, were you at the rally at Madison Square Garden yesterday?
No, I've tethered myself to my district. I don't intend to leave anytime soon. Knocking on doors, meeting with voters, and making sure that they know that they've got a voice and a fighter in me, although my voice is a little bit strained these days.
All right, Congressman Molinaro, thanks so much for your time. We'll talk soon.
Glad to be with you. Be well.
All right. In the meantime here, I hope you found that conversation informative. That's what we do here on Live Now. We speak to these candidates in these really competitive House races. That one, the most expensive this cycle when it comes to House races there in New York, 19. In the meantime,